Hi and welcome to this new video. Today we're going to unbox and check out the Naim Mu So or Mu So, I don't know how to pronounce it. Maybe you already know the speaker, it's quite a pricey one. It's made by the company Naim. They usually produce high-end audio gear, I've already heard of them. Also tried quite a few of their products like amplifiers or speakers. And they usually offer quite some nice sound to price value. And with this, they have released their first kind of all-in-one multi-room speaker, and it's called the Mu So or Mu So. I would just call it Mu So. It also has a smaller sibling, which is the Mu So QB. It's just a cube version of it, a little bit weaker, but today I wanted to try out this one. It pretty much falls in the category of the best all-in-one speaker systems next to the Valley Phantom, the FIFA Stockholm or the Clip Stadium. It costs about 1,300 euros, which is a ton of money. And today I really wanted to check it out and to compare it against the Valley Gold Phantom, which we have right here. For me, the Gold Phantom really represents the best of the best when it comes to all-in-one systems, or even going beyond, where the Phantom can compete with, big stereo systems, because those usually are never tuned right. The amplifiers are either too weak for the speakers, or the speakers are too weak for the amplifier, while with the Phantom you get a full package, and it will be really hard to find a stereo system which can compete with the Phantom, so it really resembles one of the best speakers in its class. And today I'm of course also very excited to check out the Naim Mu So, as it's meant to compete with it. It features about 450 watts of RMS power, which is about similar to the Valley Gold Phantom. It has 6 drivers inside, 2 bass drivers, 2 mid-range drivers and 2 tweeters, so it's obviously a stereo speaker while the Phantom is mono. And they also claim impressive specs like, of course, leading technology inside, DSP technology, high bitrate functions. It also has tons of connectivity functions, it works with iPhone and iPads and everything. It has AirPlay, Spotify Connect, Tidal and Wi-Fi, so everything you could ever want when it comes to connectivity is inside of here. It also features an app, just like the Phantom, but I won't talk about this stuff that much in this video here, as I think that it's really about the sound. First, we have to check out if the speaker sounds good, and if it sounds good, I will probably do a further video explaining how all of the, connectivity features work. But for now, I think that sound is the most important and, of course, also most exciting part here. So let's take it out of the box right here. I will just do it like this, and then remove the top and just get it out here. At the top you also get a kind of remote for the device, wrong way around, which is nice because with DVLA you have to pay about $200 for a remote, so this is clearly a nice feature. And now we can already take it out here. It's quite heavy, I think about 12 kilograms, and it sits in there pretty tightly. Now let's remove the packaging. Nothing more is in here. It's of course incredibly big because the speaker isn't quite small either. And let's place it on my table now. Okay, so this was really heavy. Now it's finally here. You can see it's much smaller than the actual packaging. I like that it's very wide and also not that tall. So it really looks elegant and very nice. But let's remove the foil first. So now we have finally fully unboxed it. It was quite a knack to get it out of the box. It was sitting in there pretty tightly, nicely packaged, so that really nothing happens to this expensive product. And now we have it right here. Let's also remove the foil from the top right here, there's another foil all around the speaker. So let me get this off as well. And now it's really fully unboxed. Again, it was pretty heavy to get it out of the box. At some points I was worried of dropping it because it was very heavy. Again, I think 12 kilograms or something, so right on one level with the Valley Phantom. And now of course you can see it's a really nice looking speaker. I expected it to look a little bit unfinished, but it actually has a really nice and elegant touch to it. You can see the grille has a nice shape to it. On top you have your control dial, which is also touch functional, I don't know. You can control inputs, and also of course it's the volume dial. At the back you have all of your ports, like I think optical in port, Ethernet port, so there are tons of ports, but I won't cover those in this video right now because I think that it's really about the sound. At the back you also have the heat sinks, just like the Valley Phantom, which of course make the speaker not run hot. At the bottom you also have 2 bass ports, On the other hand, the Phantom is a closed box or a sealed box, while the Naim Mu So of course has two bass ports, which of course have been designed a long time, as they are claiming in their advertisement, and it should deliver some really nice bass performance out of those two bass drivers. At the bottom you have, I think, some kind of glass foot, which also has a Naim logo, which is illuminated, which looks very nice. So overall the speaker definitely gives an impression of being high quality and of course also very expensive, which it is, but it really holds up to the price tag for now. But now I will stop talking about the speaker and the design and the unboxing experience. You can see it's really nice looking, packaging was great, but I think of course that it's really about the sound. So in this video I will again wear my binaural high quality microphones, so please put up your headphones, as this is really the only way to listen to binaural microphone recordings and enjoy the sound comparison. So I've already took a short listen, and as you can see I already took off the grill here, and I can say I'm highly impressed with it. First I thought, well, this would just be an overpriced product by name, like it looks fancy but it won't sound that great, especially compared to the Phantom, but it's a real competitor to the Phantom. I wouldn't say that it passes the Phantom, but it definitely is right up there. I even prepared my JBL boombox in case it really failed, but the Naim definitely is in a different class than the JBL boombox or the FIFA Oslo. You will definitely need something bigger like the FIFA Stockholm, or I don't know, the JBL Authentics R16, which seems to be a bit outdated, in order to compete with the Naim. And I have the Diwali Phantom here. In my case it's the Gold Phantom, but yeah, it just offers better mids and treble, but from the bass and overall sound signature it's the same to the other models. So if you buy a smaller white Phantom or the new Phantom Elevate, you will get the same bass kick or normal volumes, just that the Phantom Gold version will be a bit clearer and a bit louder. But I think for a rough comparison this should definitely be enough. I will start with a very bass heavy track. No worries, later on I will also play some acoustic music, but this is just my really first impression of it. I will take some more time in order to really get in detail with the listening experience, as those are real hi-fi speakers already. I wouldn't quite judge them after the first 2 minutes, but for now I will just play some very extreme bass tracks, or not too extreme, which yeah, should really show which speaker offers more punch. And later on I will also play some nice acoustic stuff for all of the hi-fi lovers out there. So let's start with the Naim. You could hear, this is quite an extreme track, but I think that the Naim really holds up to the Phantom, although it cannot quite surpass it. You can see the two bass drivers of the Naim, they are quite a bit smaller than the ones of the Phantom. Both have a really nice housing, so the Phantom has this yeah, kind of vibration cancelling Kevlar ABS housing, which in my opinion is my favorite housing of any speaker in this kind of category, as it really has almost no vibrations even at max volume, with like 2 centimeters of driver excursion. The Naim has a rather traditional wooden metal housing, so on the inside it's MDF and on the outside it's just yeah, some metal plates. Yeah, this is of course also a really nice construction, especially when it comes to sound. Like wood is a good yeah, material for speakers. Still, I think that the construction of the Phantom is a bit more intelligent, as those two drivers are really facing each other, or yeah, cancelling out any vibrations. So this is of course really nice, but both are quite innovative, I would say. So now let's check out one more track. you can hear, one big advantage of the Naim obviously is the stereo separation, as the Phantom is a mono speaker and the Naim is a true stereo speaker, which even offers nice stereo separation due to the very far apart drivers. Still, I would say that this doesn't really, make a better sound. Of course, soundstage will be slightly better, but if you are a real, speaker lover, you should first look at sound quality and then decide whether you want mono or stereo. Of course, it's a nice advantage of the Naim, as stereo is very essential to sound. Still, I think that if the Phantom sounds better to you, you should not let your decision be influenced by if it's mono or stereo, but rather decide on the sound. Still, I think the Naim is a little bit too loud, so let me turn down the volume knob slightly. As you can see, volume isn't in sync, which is a bit sad, but it's okay. And let's check out some track by Soul Persona now, Analog, you probably already know it, and let's see how they compare here. Or maybe that's too soft. So this is where it really gets interesting. With the bass kick you could hear the DVLA Phantom still had a slight advantage. It's just so powerful, like the bass of the Phantom is unbeatable. Even big stereo systems like mine cannot handle the same bass kick as the Phantom. But with this track you could hear the Naim I think had less dynamic range than the Phantom. The Phantom had deeper bass, which is more punchy and more precise. It also offered more natural mids, while the Naim in some cases sounded a little bit hollow. I don't want to, offend anyone here who is a Naim fan or something, but I think that the Phantom wins in this. So now let's check out one more track here, which I have already selected in order to compare those two here. Another one which is a bit more, bass heavy I would say, and let's see which one performs better here. In the ending you could hear the really deep bass notes, which were played much better on the Phantom. I also think it sounded way more linear with this track. The treble wasn't as, not harsh, but sometimes the treble of the Naim was a bit peaking, while the Phantom always sounds linear and quite true to the actual sound or audio signal. Also bass was deeper, you could hear the bass kicks were played more precisely and also a bit deeper. I think this is enough of modern music. Let's check out a jazz track now. You can hear everything sounds a little bit cleaner.
Little people on the sidewalks, rolling down the avenues, sitting outside the cafe, looking for the muse. Well, I was locked in by the sister, where no freedom is the rule. Now I spend all my time.
I'm not sure what's wrong here, but the iPhone doesn't switch over. Now let's continue.
I make it understood. It once was my life. That's what everybody said. How the things I used to do. Yeah, the people that were friends. I've got to make it mean something.
So yeah, despite me being very impressed by the name, as I expected much less of it, I still think the Phantom is the better speaker here. I know it's more expensive, but if you buy the cheaper version of the Phantom, it will still sound very close to the gold one and probably even be better than the name. I also checked them out at higher volumes. The Phantom will win here as well. It just has the bigger drivers. It provides more kick, more punch overall on max volume, while also being louder than the name. Which is, yeah, of course, the Phantom is a bit more expensive, but I expected a little bit more of Naim. Actually, I expected less from the speaker, but I would like Naim as a real hi-fi company to provide some nice, very clear audio with a lot of stereo. You get stereo, but the Phantom still sounds more linear and just a little bit, I don't know, more pleasing, a bit more hi-fi. Let's check out one more track here.
When the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, oh Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in. Yeah. When St. John of the Cross comes marching in.
So with this track, I much preferred the Phantom. Again, it's my first listening experience. Maybe the name has other advantages. I don't want to make a full statement yet, but I think that the Phantom is quite a bit better here. I mean, it offered more treble resolution. The hi-hats were way more pronounced while not being harsh or, annoying at all with the Phantom. They just sounded clear and very refined, while the name had a, boxy character to it. I'm not saying that it sounds boxy, but compared to the Phantom, it sounded a bit boxy. Also, the bass rumble in the background was a bit hollow with the name compared to the Phantom, while the Phantom had smooth, almost very realistic deep bass, and also the mid sounded more free, despite the coaxial driver layout with the Phantom, which usually is known for quite dark mids. Although, yeah, with this track, the Phantom for some reason sounded way more bright and a bit more free and just clearer than the name. In my opinion, the better speaker in this case. Next, I have selected a track which is often played on very big high-end systems to check the mid-range performance and the vocals. So now, let me start with the Naim Mu So again. Maybe you see some differences in lighting or something, because I had to go out first to a restaurant and then I came back, and now I can finish the recording, so don't wonder if something's different. So yeah, let's start with the name again. Sorry for the outside noises, by the way.
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a red rose up in Spanish Harlem. She is a special one, she's never seen the sun. She only comes out when the moon is on the run, and all stars are gleaming. She's growing in the street, right up through the concrete, but soft and sweet and dreamy. There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a red rose up Spanish Harlem.
So I think that when it comes to the vocals, both are pretty much tight, although with the other tracks, I preferred the vocals from the DVLE, which is a bit weird, because with this track, where you really get a pure vocal or a pure mid-range output, both sound very similar, but with other tracks, for example, I preferred the Phantom, as the mid seemed a bit more, a bit more clean, a bit more free sounding than with the Naim. But with this track, it seems to be quite similar on both. So overall, for normal sound, I would say as a small conclusion, the Naim definitely is a speaker which impressed me. I expected a bit less from it. I thought, it will be something overpriced, like those small drivers, they cannot take the same, audio input as the Phantom, but it can really nicely keep up with most tracks, although I would say that it can still not really surpass the Phantom, and I personally would still pick the Phantom by quite a bit. And why? I will show you in some seconds, because we will crank them up higher, but I will talk about this later in my full conclusion as well. But now let me check out one last track to really demonstrate why I would pick the Phantom over the Naim, as one of the few reasons. I will play a track, quite bass heavy again, so nothing acoustic this time, but I will crank them up a bit higher. So the Phantom, I think about 80% volume, which is already very loud, and then I will try to match the Naim. I won't play them at max volume now, as it's a bit too late for that. I will do it in a separate sound comparison between those two, which I will definitely do, as both are very competitive. But again, for now, I will play them at about 80% volume, which is quite loud, just so we can see which one keeps more bass, which one remains more powerful sounding. So therefore, again, I will turn down the gain of my microphone a bit, just because it would be too loud for my mics and they would distort. And let's see which one performs better on high volumes. So you could clearly hear that the Phantom held up quite a bit better. The Naim was already going through its limits. Again, this was a very high volume, and with the Phantom I was really worried of my neighbors getting annoyed. With the Naim not so much. But it's definitely quite a high volume, so it's not for everyone. But I think that if you spend this much money on a speaker, you really expect them to sound great on high volumes as well. So maybe you want to have a party, and therefore I would definitely prefer the Phantom. I won't say that the Phantom is a party speaker. The Phantom is a true hi-fi speaker, in my opinion quite a bit more hi-fi than the Naim even. Still, I would say that if you want to crank them up higher, if you want to hear, a real orchestra at really high volumes, you should probably pick the Phantom, just because it sounds better on high volumes. On max volume, the Gold Phantom will probably be a little bit louder than the Naim, or I haven't checked it yet, maybe 3 or 4 decibels, so actually a little bit louder than the Naim, just due to the bigger drivers. With the smaller versions, I'm not that sure. The Silver Phantom is about 105 decibels loud. The new Phantom Elevate, which is pricely comparable to the Naim, I think is about 102 or 103 decibels. So those should be as loud as the Naim, maybe even a little bit louder again. I haven't fully measured the Naim yet and how loud it is. But I can tell you that no matter which Phantom you buy, they will be as loud as the Naim, and they will also sound better on high volumes, because all Phantoms spec the same bass drivers. So you can expect the Phantoms to really gain momentum on really high levels, where the Naim already starts to lose bass. The Naim really went through its limits. Also the bass drivers already couldn't take it anymore. There was a slight hint of distortion, while the Phantom just sounded relaxed and powerful. it's really impressive. Like I crank up the Naim and I think, wow, this is so loud, this is good sounding, because on its own, the Naim is impressive even on high volumes. But then you switch to the Phantom, you crank it up 2 notches higher and you think, wow, this is just better. That's just, for me, the magic about the Phantom. And again, I won't say that it's a party speaker for high volumes, for max volume only. It's definitely also a hi-fi speaker. On normal volumes you could hear it even sounded better than the Naim with many tracks. So yeah, this definitely is a very impressive speaker, but both are really good. So now I want to show you one last track, again on really high volumes, to demonstrate the differences again. I will take one by Nigel Good, and let's check out how they perform here again. So I think that this is already it from this comparison. I know it got way too long. I try to keep it as short as I can in this small verdict for my first impressions about the Naim. So let's talk about the Naim at first without comparing it to anything like the Phantom. As one speaker, I would say, if you have the money, just buy it. It's a really cool speaker. I didn't expect this. Many other reviewers said, oh, it's a great speaker, but they really never show any high quality sound samples, so I could really never really judge the sound quality, never really tell if it's a really good speaker. But now that I have it here, it's really a speaker which has blown me away, as I was quite skeptical at first. I thought, yeah, this concept cannot quite work, the drivers are too small, but it really did not let me down. With any kind of music you throw at it, it will perform great. It will never let you down or disappoint you with any kind of music at any volume. So that's really impressive. I think that Naim has managed a really nice product here. Again, with acoustic music it sounds very nice and clear, it has big stereo separation. With modern music it has a nice deep bass kick, as you could hear from the previous test. It reaches down to 30 Hz, also compared to the Phantom it can reach the same frequencies almost. The only big difference is that the Phantom reaches those frequencies with a lot more power, with a lot more volume, while the Naim just plays a slight hint of them, although I would already say that's an achievement to just manage this. The Phantom has way bigger drivers, which are of course way more capable when it comes to deep bass. So the Naim really also has nice bass performance, which is really not that likely for such small drivers when you compare it to, a subwoofer or something. Some subs won't even do 30 Hz, and the Naim can do it, so it really delivers a nice package. Also looks wise, I instantly fell in love with it. It looks very elegant, especially with the grill off. I love seeing the drivers move. The ring at the top for controlling the volume looks nice. The heatsink at the back looks very fancy, and the overall construction is of course also very high quality. I mean, it weighs 13 kilograms, it's made from wood inside and metal outside. The drivers feel high quality. I think that they used expensive stuff here, so it's definitely a great package overall. Even for the steep price, I wouldn't say that it's overpriced or anything. I think it's worth the price for the sound and for the features you get. Again, talking about the features, I will probably cover those in another video. Talking about how you can connect it, Wi-Fi, Spotify Connect and all of this kind of stuff. But in this video I just wanted to focus on sound and everything. So again, as a package I can just recommend it. It's nice looking and it also really does not disappoint when it comes to sound. I expect it to sound much weaker, but even when you crank it up higher, it goes really loud and it will never distort or compress or, heavily, take back bass or something. So it's a pretty solid performer when it comes to overall sound. With any kind of volume, with any kind of music you throw at it, it will not let you down. After the big positive impression of the Naim, your question of course might be, is it better than the Diwali Gold Phantom, which is known, at least on my channel, as being the best speaker, or the best all-in-one speaker which you can buy right now. Of course not the best speaker, but as the best all-in-one speaker money can buy you right now. And I would say, sadly, the Naim still has to, give up the crown for the Phantom, or still has to make room for the Phantom in this kind of class, as the Phantom still is the winner here. The Phantom sounds better with almost any kind of music. As long as you are not addicted to the stereo which the Naim offers you, the Phantom will deliver the better package for you and it will deliver the best sound. I won't describe all of the details now, as I just wanted you to have a listen for yourself. I include very high quality audio files, binaural microphone recordings, so if you were wearing good headphones, you should have gotten a good impression of those two speakers, and you should have also heard that the Phantom sounds quite a bit better than the Naim, especially when you turn it up higher. Overall, I would say the Naim still is not a speaker I cannot recommend, as the Naim, keep in mind, is quite a bit less expensive than the Phantom. I think it's about $400 less expensive than the entry-level Phantom, and it's about $1,000 less expensive than the Gold Phantom here. But I'm just speaking, I don't know, theoretically here, because maybe some of you will ask yourselves which one is better now. And in this case, I would just have to give it to the Phantom. I also have some arguments for this, obviously. I'm not just saying it's the cooler speaker, but it also sounds better. I mean, it has more resolution than treble, the mids sound a bit more free, and the bass sounds just deeper. It sounds more powerful. It can play deep orchestra notes, which the Naim just does not play at all. And in my opinion, that's not only good for party, but that's also good for serious critical music listening, as music has bass notes down to 15 Hz or something, or down to 5 Hz even when you play big orchestra, and the Phantom comes way closer to those deep bass notes than the Naim does, and that's a big advantage of the Phantom compared to the Naim. Also, again, the overall sound tuning is better with the Phantom. It sounds more true to the audio recording, it sounds more linear, and the signal which it provides just seems to be a bit more clearer, a bit more high quality than the Naim. Of course, still I'm not saying that the Naim is a speaker which I cannot recommend, just because the Phantom sometimes sounds better. Keep in mind the Phantom again is more expensive, but if you have the choice between those two, I would say pay $400 more and get the entry-level Phantom. The only difference between the Gold Phantom and the new Phantom Elevate, I think, is that the Gold Phantom is louder and offers better treble performance. The bass performance is almost the same on both, so the entry-level Phantom will also sound better than the Naim. And it's $400 more, so if you have the money, if you really have the money left, I would say pay those $400 and get yourself the Phantom, as it just is the overall better sounding speaker than the Naim. It's superb sounding, offers better bass, better mids, better treble, although in the case of the Phantom Elevate, I would say that mid-range and treble performance is on one level with the Naim, but it will definitely win on higher volumes. It offers better bass, it offers better loudness than the Naim, and if you spend $1,000 more and get the Gold Phantom, it will beat the Naim in any way. It has better treble, better mids, better bass, sounds better on high volumes. So yeah, overall I would say if you have the money, go for the Phantom, but if you really don't want to spend more than $1,200 exactly, I would say you are good to go with the Naim. I think there's nothing else in this exact kind of price category which can beat the Naim so far. It's really an extraordinary speaker at this kind of price point, but if you have the money left and you want to know from me which one's better, the Phantom or the Naim, I can tell you the Phantom is the winner in this case. So yeah, I hope that you really enjoyed this video. It got way too long again, just like always. I don't even want to know, probably like 30 minutes or something. But if you enjoyed it and if you are excited for the new quick comparisons with the DeVialet Phantom against the Naim, where I just play some more tunes, please leave a like on this video and make sure to subscribe to my channel. Until then, have a great time and bye bye.